do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove there's strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others failed to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Oh yeah, good evening, y'all. Happy to be here. Mic check, mic check. We're good to go. All right, it's good to see everybody tonight. Hey, we're going to be talking about sports all night, doing what we do. You guys already know the deal. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. You guys drive this show. Your questions will keep me talking all night, and if you got no questions, we'll touch on some topics and leave. But first, I'm always going to talk about things that are trending. Tonight, I'm going to flip the script just a little bit. I don't want to put the young man's name and picture up here, but there was a high school kid who committed suicide because he was the victim of a sextortion scam by the Nigerian scammers. And I just want to get right to it, okay? I want to tell you guys that the scammers aren't real. The scams aren't real, but the scammers are. If you sent someone a nude photo, oh, well. Get over it. Let them enjoy it. I don't care. You guys need to stop being embarrassed about your body. This is absurd. But the young man took his own life. He fell for the scammers. Guys, these scammers are not bad people, man. They're just making a living. The worst people are the victims. I know this firsthand. I know this firsthand. I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit and show you guys something, all right? People pretend to be me every single day. If you go on TikTok and you do a search for Rico Breed On, you're going to see a ton of people pretending to be me. This happens everywhere I go. It's normal. It happens to good-looking people. But if you do Rico Love Scams U.S. Army, and you just click on images up here, you're going to see all these fake accounts pretending to be me. This happens to me every day of my life for the last 10 years. Okay? At no point do I want to kill myself. But these guys pretend to be me. It's pretty neat. That's my daughter right there. She's 17 now. You can click on it. There'll be additional photos. I'll move myself out of the way. You can see over here a lot of old photos I miss. And you can just drill down and just keep clicking on old photos. It's cool. They got them all out there. The only problem is women think they're talking to me the whole time. You're not. I don't know you. I don't care to know you. But this is happening to people all over the world. It's not that bad of a deal, y'all. It's been happening for 10 years. It's not that bad. Who it's bad for are the victims. The women who fall in love with these photos and the people pretending to be me, they're the worst. Because eventually they give their money. Eventually they send nude photos. They get blackmailed and coerced to have to pay money and do things. And these women will come looking for me, the real me, and be like, I want my money back. Rico, I want my money back. I've been talking to you for 3 years. We've never met, but I'm in love with you. You're in love with me. We got married by proxy. All this nonsense. I just look at them and go, hey, bro, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. I don't know you. I didn't do it. You're an idiot for thinking I spoke broken English. I'm on live every day. You can come see the real me. There ain't nothing. If I wrote you a message and said, oh, I love you. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're so, this is ridiculous. The photos aren't fake. They're really me. They're not fake. It's just people using fake profiles using my photos. But there's guys pretending to be me on TikTok right now. If I do a search and I go to, how do I get there? TikTok. Check this out. I'll pull it up real quick. I'm just going to do a simple search in the top bar, and I'm going to do a search for Rico. I'll pull it back so you guys can see it here in a sec. 1 sec.
This serious?
I don't want anything to play audio-wise. You know, I don't need copyrights. But look, there it is. These users, you can just go to accounts. Look at all these guys pretending to be me. It happens every single day. And you'd be surprised. These guys got some. Well, there's one guy out there. He's got 11,000 followers pretending to be me. I just did Rico Breed On. There's another guy, Rico with some numbers. These guys got followers for days, bro. And these women are talking to them. Now, if you're talking to one of these fake accounts and you send them nude photos and then they start blackmailing you for $300, $400, $500, you don't need to commit suicide. You don't need to end your life. You don't need to be unalive anymore. That young man, that young high school player, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I wish him well. Now, I'm going to get off that. It's a sad subject. Let's go ahead. Let's liven up the show. Hey, thanks for being here, guys. Let's rock this. I'm going to get to the questions. It is what it is. I say that every night. It is what it is. Unfortunately, sometimes the transfer portal's not moving. But last night it was. Let me explain what happens here. I made a video and talked to you guys about Derek LeBlanc yesterday. That's the young man who left Oklahoma, right? And they said he has family issues and he's going back home. And so don't think he's going to USC. I got a bunch of messages saying he's going to USC. He said he's got family problems and he needs hardship. But the difference is I asked the question, how do you enter the transfer portal when the portal's closed? How do you enter the transfer portal when the portal's closed? Well, it's real simple. You can still declare and drop out of school. You can still leave. You can still enter the portal. But you won't get your waiver. You can't use your first-time waiver to get immediate approval. So you're going to lose a year of eligibility. Not a big deal for an incoming freshman. LeBlanc's been on campus for 4 or 5 months. It just means he'll redshirt this year. So it's not the end of the world. You can still transfer. You just won't get your immediate eligibility. It'll be like the old school way of doing things, okay? So that's number one. But if you see A.J. McCarty here, A.J. McCarty did not want to transfer. And he will get a waiver for immediate eligibility. A.J. McCarty, Baylor pulled his financial aid, essentially pulled his scholarship. Baylor, you know, they probably gave him his exit meeting in the spring and said, hey, man, you're not a part of our plan moving forward. And he was like, that's cool. I'm staying in school. I'm going to get my education and my degree. And then out of nowhere, Baylor, this should be front page news. This is the worst. You forced this young man into the portal, and there's no denying it. You didn't just give him bad news. You just didn't give him a bad information and tell him he's not going to get developed and he's not going to get reps. No. A.J. McCarty was at school, and everything was fine, and then they pulled his. And so now there's a caveat on his entry into the portal. He's going to get immediate eligibility approved, more than likely, if the NCAA has any type of common sense. And they usually don't, if we're being real. The other kid going to Notre Dame is Grant Ristoff here. Don't worry about this guy. He played at Penn for 4 or 5 years. He was a partial starter. He was a starter this year. He played in like 8 games, but he got injured, and he missed the last couple of games of the season. He's been injured all offseason, but this is not an impact player for Notre Dame. This is I'm assuming, a preferred walk-on or the 85th scholarship at best, but I'm assuming preferred walk-on. So that's all that happened in the transfer portal. Before I get to what's trending, I'm going to talk to you guys. We're going to go ahead and jump into the questions, and then I'll get back to what's trending so you guys can drive it all. So let's see what happens here. We're here. Rise with us. Seth is here every day. He beats all you guys to it. Shout out to Seth for being one of the first people in the chat every single day. What a beast. Steve says, welcome in, everybody. Please hit the subscribe and like button. Do what you do. Should be a fun one. While you're at it, hit up RicoKnows.org. If you guys don't know, Kim Jones, the beautiful Kim Jones, created the website for us today to get merch. So RicoKnows.org is the place to go, and that's where you can get yourself some merchandise. We got coffee cups, we got T-shirts or whatever it is. You can go in there and buy them. Now, I think everything's a little pricey. I don't even know if I make money on this, but if you want to support the channel, see where it says right there, Steve says, hey, come be a part of the Cool Kids Club. Hey, man, I'm just keeping it real. Come support the channel. This is what I do for a living. Help a brother out. I'm trying to do this and keep food on the table. You guys see me? I'm eating 3 eggs and ground beef every day. Do you think Colorado will beat TCU? Shout out to D. Till. He says, do I think Colorado will beat TCU? I'm on record for saying that, yes, I believe Colorado will beat TCU. I believe TCU is going to have a down year. TCU is a 4-win team 2 years ago, and I believe that that's the caliber of the players that they have. I'm so serious right now. They lost 8 guys in the NFL draft. You don't lose 8 guys in the NFL draft and go on without missing a beat. Things go wrong at that point. Did anybody catch the last well-off media video? They're lifting weights, and Xavier Weaver says he's doing his squats, and then they're rapping along to a song, and he's talking about who he burns or who he smokes or whatever. Yeah, I think he said it smokes. And the first one he's like is shout out to Oregon or Nebraska, and then at the end he goes TCU, and then they cut the clip. So I think the players have TCU on their mind. I don't even think it's that big of an upset if Colorado beats TCU. Me personally, whatever the line is, I want to go out there and drop $5,000 on it. I'm a thousandaire. I'm not a millionaire. So $5,000 sounds like a good bet for me. I don't know. If the line's over 20, get all over it. TCU, with their all-time great team last year, was up by 7 at the half. And that's the greatest team TCU's had since 2014, right? Second best team all time in the history of TCU football. And you struggled with one of the worst teams in the country. TCU came back to win a lot of games last year in the second half. They weren't a good team. They weren't as good as they advertised. They looked worse than Kent State in the national title game, right? If you saw Georgia play Kent State, TCU was not as good as Kent State. I'm just letting you know. Kent State had a better game plan against Georgia than TCU did. So, yeah, I think Colorado can beat TCU. I'm not talking crazy. What up, Twitch? Twitch09 flexing on us, and he's blowing out the hot air. What? Hey, I want all the smoke. Rico finally caught your live stream. Hey, what's up, man? Boom shakalaka. Thanks for being here. It's the same day every time. Same day. Same time every day. I'm sorry. Same time every day. Every day someone is asking if Colorado will beat TCU or Nebraska. His opinion is not going to change from yesterday. Chris, you don't know if these guys are new. I've never seen D. Teal. Shout out to Chris. Chris is here every day. You don't want to hear the same questions every day. You know, Chris, I never get tired of answering the same question every day. It just means I'm a subject matter expert on it. Okay? That's how I feel about it. Blunts or Paper Podcast said, best player in the Coachella Valley ever. Best player in the Coachella Valley ever. So, If you don't know where the Coachella Valley is, that's where I grew up. Blunts or Paper Podcast, that's where he's from. That's where he grew up. And I'm going to go ahead and say it's Ed White. Ed White played for Bill Snyder, head coach Bill Snyder, and retired former K-State head coach. He used to coach at Indio High School. And Ed White, the stadium's named after him. He won a Super Bowl, and he played in the NFL. He had a long career. So that's the field at Indio is named after Ed White. Ed White Stadium. He's the greatest player in the history of the Coachella Valley. That's where I'll go with that. Now, who's the best player I ever saw? Come on now. Freddie C, man. Frederick Collins. Frederick Collins is the greatest player I ever saw. I played with 4 NFL guys, and Frederick Collins was better than all of them, times 10. Nobody was as good as Freddie C. I'm convinced Frederick Collins is the greatest football player I ever saw with my own eyes at the high school level. And I saw Travis Hunter, and I saw everybody else. Frederick Collins was him. 2,000 rushing yards his senior year, 1,000 yards receiving, 50 total touchdowns. That man was everything. Couldn't keep his grades. But shout out to Freddie C. Frederick Visa Collins, because he's everywhere you want to be, if you remember the Visa slogan. The photos are fake, but those selfies that you were taking are real, Coach. LOL, throwback. Thank you very much. Yep, throwback. You look like the defensive coordinator for Nebraska. Shout out to him. He must be a good-looking man. Must be a very good-looking man. Is Cormani McClain still going to Colorado? He has not reported yet. Yes, Cormani McClain is committed to Colorado. I don't know of anything else. I was told that he was reporting this week, Monday. I'm not there to take roll call. I haven't done any type of accountability formation to find out if he's there. I'm not too worried about it. What's your opinion on Reggie Powers committing to Michigan State? I don't worry about commits. You guys stop coming in here with that nonsense. What do you think about Bobo Klintman withdrawn from the NBA draft? I had a first-round grade on him. I don't care about any dude named Bobo or the NBA draft. Let me make that very clear. Thanks for the question. Do you like cameras upside? We're not going to do this. Camara's upside? We're not going to do this. You guys are on the wrong spot. You know that, Connor. You know better. Which running back do you think will start at Colorado this year? If Alton McCaskill is not healthy, I'm leaning towards Smoke or Savion. I saw them both lifting weights and doing squats, and Alton McCaskill was not doing squats. He was doing some knee work, some leg work. You got a month. We need to figure something out. I don't know how his tendons are doing. I saw a big knee brace on him, but I love everything Alton does. So Alton McCaskill's my guy, but if he's not healthy, then you got to go with one of those senior guys who have a lot of wear and tear on their bodies and just big, stronger backs that can get it done. That's awesome. Stephanie Vance, thank you. Who will Northwestern's running back be? Yunky Chunky, I'm not sure. I haven't looked. Oh, wait. Didn't I mention it yesterday? No, I was talking about UCF. I would have to look into that. I owe you an answer, Yunky Chunky. I owe you an answer. Hopefully McCaskill will start for Colorado. Give me a realistic starting lineup, offense and defense. Dom D, not doing it, man. Not doing it. People ask me this all the time. I'm going to let the players earn their spots this summer. I'll wait and see what it is like everybody else. I'm not doing it. Where can I get the merchandise? The merchandise is at ricoknows.org. That's all you got to type in your search bar. Not your search bar, but your internet, your web browser. Just type in Rico Knows, all one word, RICOKNOWS, ricoknows.org, O-R-G, and the page will come up and you can pick what you want. Smoking that Rico pack. Rico betting. I don't bet anything. Would a ring elevate Kirk Cousins into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? My friend and I were talking about this. I believe so. I believe so, Connor. I believe Kirk Cousins is a dog, y'all. Kirk Cousins has real stats, and a Super Bowl would put him there. Because who would he beat to win that Super Bowl? He'd beat somebody really good in the AFC. He'd beat an all-time great quarterback to win his Super Bowl. So that's where I'm at on that. Yeah, I like Kirk Cousins a lot, guys. I think a lot of people underestimate. Like, if any of these quarterbacks that just got drafted, if any of them had a career equivalent to Kirk Cousins, it would be considered a success. Kirk Cousins is a complete dog. Kirk Cousins, I say this all the time, guys. I literally say this all the time. Kirk Cousins was a 4th-round draft pick when his team drafted RG3 in the 1st round. Like, they already had a quarterback, and they went and drafted him to be the backup. He didn't give a shit. RG3's out here with Twitter fingers everywhere. Kirk Cousins still lacing it, bro. And he's wired for quarterback battles. Kirk Cousins, when he got to Michigan State, he had to compete with Brian Hoyer, an NFL quarterback, and Nick Foles. Nick Foles was at Michigan State and couldn't beat out Kirk Cousins. Nick Foles transfers to Arizona and finds his way to the NFL. That's cool, but that quarterback room at Michigan State was stacked. Kirk Cousins wasn't sweating nobody. He's a dog. No matter where he goes, he's going to beat people out. I love everything about Kirk Cousins. He's made over $250 million, got a wife with no pictures on the internet. Kirk Cousins is him, bro. You like that. You like that, huh? I don't worry about all that. They call him high noon Cousins because he can't play in the evening. He can't play in the playoffs, all this shit. Nah, man, I don't want to hear none of that. Kirk Cousins' numbers are real. His production is real. I think he's a Hall of Famer if he wins a Super Bowl because he's going to have to do some remarkable things to win a Super Bowl. Other than that, right now, he's just Phillip Rivers light. He's just Phillip Rivers light. He's got to keep playing, but he's Phillip Rivers light. In other words, I like Phillip Rivers more as of right now. I really do. I like Tony Romo more. Tony Romo's ahead of Kirk Cousins for me on the all-time list. Probably Connor. I doubt he gets a ring, though, to be honest. Exactly. It's going to be tough. 60-point over-under versus Nebraska. So 60 points on the over-under for Nebraska versus Colorado? Yeah, give me the over. Give me the over. I think the offenses are going to have their way. There you go. Kim let you guys know. RicoKnows.org. Are you surprised Seydou Traore hasn't picked up from the portal, which was someone who is supposedly On3's highest-rated returning tight end? So Ty Solomano, I do not give two rats' ass about how these websites rank the players, number one. Okay? I'm not surprised he hasn't signed with anyone. There's no point. The next semester doesn't start until, September. If he wants to show up to a team and start practicing, then more power to him. But there's no reason to rush. He needs to make the right decision, find the right team for him, find the right scheme for him. But what people can't forget, and what you can't ever forget, is I just saw a story. I was looking for stuff to talk about today, and I saw a story where they said the most impactful transfers to the Big Ten were Josiah Stewart and the linebacker, Hausman. And it's because they read On3. It's because they read 24/7. It's because they look at those websites and they go, oh, yeah, the rankings, these guys are the best players. No, they're not. No, they're not. Seydou Traore is not the best tight end in the portal. He was an all-conference Sun Belt, all-conference tight end, the leading receiver at Arkansas State. This man's played 1 year of college football. Played 1 year of American football before that. He's from England. He's a goalie in soccer. He's not cut from that cloth. He's not here to take lunch money. We'll see where he ends up. We'll see where he ends up. I think he should have ended up in Louisville. If you ask me, he should have went to Louisville, pass-happy offense that would utilize him. Or Western Kentucky. I'll say it again. I love what you're doing, man. Thank you very much, Austin Tyler. I love what you guys are doing, supporting me. This is how it is. Rico, how are you? I'm amazing, Jamie. I'd spent the most of my day doing laundry, cooking. I didn't leave the house. I didn't go for a run. It's been raining all day, but, working hard. I started my transfer portal rankings. I've done 7 teams. I need to do 133 first, sort them, and then create the videos. So it's going to take me some time. I don't think I'll start making videos till about 2 weeks from now, but I'm working on it. If I can do 10 a day, that takes me 2 days. That takes me 2 weeks. I didn't do 10 today. I get a little burned out. There's a lot of data to digest. I've created a new metric and a new formula. It's pretty complex, and I'm hanging in there. But, man, it's tough. I'll get it done. The videos are fun, but the data's not fun. The data crunching isn't fun. Making the video is. And then I start every morning making other videos for your guys' entertainment. But that's my baby right now. And then somebody asked me to do what I did for the NFL draft. They would like me to do that for every college team in America. Talk about their quarterback, their running back, the wide receiver, like every single position. I'm like, whoa, slow down. He is on campus going through medical clearance and class clearance. There it is. Thank you, Sanford Winfield. Cormani McClain is on campus. It's in all caps. Everybody calm down. What do you think of Michael Penix Jr.? I think Michael Penix Jr. is a top 5 quarterback in the country. I think he's an NFL prospect. I think he's a great player. That's what I think of Michael Penix Jr. Thoughts on Khalil Warren out of St. John Bosco? Any player out of St. John Bosco is on my shit list. I think that they are all flops. I don't care who it is. If you went to St. John Bosco at the next level, you are a flop. Shout out to Josh Rosen, DJ Ungalele, and about 30 transfers from St. John Bosco who couldn't find the starting lineup in the transfer. Every time I look for a kid and he's like, oh, he's from California, I go look. I'm like, oh, he went to St. John Bosco. Never mind. That's why he didn't make the starting lineup. They have over-evaluated these guys. They're all 3-star players with 2-star hearts, bro. They got no work ethic. So shout out to Khalil Warren. Prove me wrong. Be great, but I ain't worried about it. And I feel the same way out of all those guys. Their quarterback just signed with Louisville, right? The little guy, the dual threat, 5'11" kid. Dad's a professional trainer. Pierce Clarkson. Yeah, somebody wrote me a message and said, watch your mouth when you talk about him. And I was like, what? Who are these internet tough guys threatening me? You better watch your mouth when you talk about him. No, I better not. I better be accurate and talk about this guy who's missing quarterback meetings, who was injured in the spring. Your only job is to go to practice and go to meetings, and I have a source in my inbox saying, hey, he missed another meeting today. See, what these guys don't understand is the players are so quick to write to me and let me know what's going on in the program. It's the players. I got all these Ole Miss fans going, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, you're a fan. I'm talking to somebody in the locker room. I'm talking to somebody on the team. It's crazy, bro. I'm Yunky Chunky. We got it. Thank you. I'm friends with A-Train. Okay. Is 9 wins realistic for Tennessee? Well, Connor, let's pull it up, man. Let's not just throw out a number and call it good. Is 9 wins first and foremost? Tennessee has a good team. Let's make that clear. They have a good offense. Tennessee Volunteers football. Dude, what are we doing? Did I not do this? What is going on? 23 schedule. Can I type? I'm typing under the desk, and my hands get a little stuck because they're pretty big. All right. So, beating Virginia, beating Austin Peay. Good luck with Florida. Everybody's circling the UTSA game like it's a coin toss. I don't know. South Carolina already got your number. A&M can beat you this year. You're going to Bama. You're going to lose. Win, win, lose, win. All right, so here's your losses. 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 losses. What does that give you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I already know they play 12 games. Every team does. You got where I'm going with that? I say they go 8-4. You say what you want to say. I say they go 8-4. I don't think Joe Milton is Hendon Hooker. I don't think Joe Milton can do Hendon Hooker-like numbers. Not a chance in hell. I need you guys to understand how great Hendon Hooker was last year. 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That ratio will not be duplicated. I don't think so. I don't think he has a Jalen Hyatt next year. I don't think he has the Biletnikoff winner on his team next year. There's a lot of reasons I don't believe that they're going to duplicate what you just saw. Now, can Brew McCoy come through? Sure. Is he a 1,200-yard receiver? Absolutely not. Brew McCoy had 52 receptions, only 600 yards. How are they going to get these yards? Where are they getting it, bro? Where are they getting it? Deontay Thornton? They're telling, we brought in Deontay Thornton. Oh, yeah, you know why everybody's so high on Deontay Thornton? I can tell you why everybody's high on Deontay Thornton. I can tell you. You're not going to like it. Because if you just go here and you just go to transfer portal and you go to 23 or 24/7 sports, should be 23/6 sports. They take a day off every day. And you go to top positions, top or whatever. Let's go to position. Can you believe their wide receiver rankings? Where's Deontay Thornton? Oh man, they might have adjusted. They might have adjusted. Nah, they didn't adjust. They got him right here, right behind Jamari Thrash. This is a top 15 wide receiver in the country. Jamari Thrash, top 15 wide receiver in the country, production-wise. Deontay Thornton's never played. And they got him right here. It's embarrassing. They got him ahead of guys who have played. Trayshawn Holden scored 6 touchdowns last year for Bama. Goes to Oregon. He's going to be starting at Oregon, a school that Deontay Thornton couldn't start at. He couldn't carry the load. And you go down, look, there's Ra Thomas, leading receiver at Mississippi State. Jordan Tyson, stud at Colorado last year. Zachary Franklin down here. Zachary Franklin has had 100 100 receptions for like 3 years in a row. Zachary Franklin's got insane numbers. There's Trey Harris, another 1,000-yard receiver, just transferred to Ole Miss. There's Elijah Spencer, led Charlotte in receiving, more than DeBose, who's now in the pros, right? Like, these players, leading receiver at FIU, Tyrese Chambers, these are real guys with real production, and this website has the nerve to put Deontay Thornton up here. And this is why all the fans start coming. Oh, we got the best receiver. We got one of the best receivers in the transport. Really? The hell are you talking about? They just threw names on the wall. These are not the best receivers in the transfer portal. These top 3 aren't in the top 10. These top 3 aren't in the top 10. Jaheim Bell is the best tight end in the portal, but these top 3 aren't in the top 10. I know this for a fact. But it's all hype, bro. It's all hype. So, yeah, Tennessee, give me 8-4. I hate to break it to some of you. 9 wins is realistic, though. What's your opinion on Barian Brown? Good weapon for Devin Leary. Barian Brown, to me, probably the best true freshman wide receiver out there. Like, just straight up dynamite, dangerous weapon. I believe in Barian Brown as a player. I think Will Levis was terrible and couldn't get him the ball. But Barian Brown is good. And so is their other freshman receiver. Forgetting his name right now. You know who I'm talking about. If you're a Kentucky fan, just put his name in there. I got too many names up here right now. What do you think of Pitt football this year? Will they blow out West Virginia? Yeah, they'll beat West Virginia. I don't know about blowout, but they'll beat West Virginia. But I don't think Pitt's going to be nearly as good. Pitt just lost a 1,400-yard rusher with 6 yards of carry and 20 touchdowns in Izzy Abanikanda. You don't lose an All-American running back, an All-Conference running back, a 1,400-yard rusher, and just keep skipping to the beat. Like, it don't happen. They lost their starting quarterback, Keaton Slovis. He transfers to BYU, right? So Pitt lost one of their starting linemen. They lost their starting middle linebacker. They lost a starting in the secondary. They lost, 5 draft picks? I don't like Pitt next year. Somebody in the ACC needs to lose. It's not going to be Duke. It's not going to be Louisville and Clemson, Florida State. Like, those are good teams. North Carolina's probably slated to be better than Pitt. I got Pitt in like the 6th or 7th spot in the ACC at best. Kirk or Goff? Kirk all day. How many firefights have you been in, Rico, while on tour? So first and foremost, it's not a tour. It's a deployment. Firefights have I been in. I don't have a – let me say this. I was in 0 firefights. Did we come under fire? Yes. Were we hit with small arms fire? Yes. Were we hit with mortar rounds? Yes. But typically, the way it works where I was at and the way we did things, if we were under attack, I would get my soldiers to a bunker, do accountability on my personnel and my sensitive items, their weapons, their nods or their scopes and everything else. And then we would sit tight till we get an all clear. Now, we'd have QRFs that would go around and react to the fire, react to the mortar rounds being launched. We did have what we call direction finding equipment or DF equipment to try to locate where things were hitting us from. I'm a military intelligence platoon sergeant at the time when I deployed. So not a lot of firefights, but if you go on a convoy, which we went on many, you go and do route clearance or you tag along to route clearance because you're trying to go see your soldiers that you've allocated to COBs or combat operating post bases out in the wilderness. I would go do welfare checks on my guys, and I would have to go deliver their mail and go check on them and make sure they're okay because I had them out on these little COBs forever. And one time we went to one, and we were only going to be there for 3 hours and come back. And when we got there, we got hit, and we couldn't leave. And they made us lock down and stay there for 2 days. Try being somewhere with 2 days when they weren't planning on you all to be there. An entire convoy pulled up. We're talking 10 vehicles, and we're all there. Now all of a sudden, you need to house 10 vehicles worth of people. You need to keep us all somewhere. We didn't have MREs for all of us. They didn't have they didn't have latrines for all of us, beds. I just slept in my buddy's floor in his chew. I just slept on his floor, and you didn't get much sleep. I mean, it's just sporadic fire. But I don't talk a lot about military deployment all that much. I don't talk about firefights and killing and anything like that. I don't glorify it. How about that? I don't glorify it. It's not the prettiest side of the job. So, shout out to you. Do you participate in fantasy football? Steven, they asked me last night to start a league, charge $100. Anybody wants in? I do and I don't. I mean, I do it, but I don't really want to. I enjoy the games. I want to watch all the games, and I hate when I play fantasy football. I find myself cheering against certain teams and players, and I don't like doing that. I support everybody. I want everybody to do well, and so that's just different. Best high school football program in the nation. Juan Marquez. It's not up for debate. It's modern day, and I've made many videos about it. Kirk Cousins is all empty stats. Oh, goodness, here we go. It's the NFL. There's no such thing as empty stats. You're playing against professionals at all times. You don't like it, stop them. I watched him during the playoffs game, and they were blowing Vikings out. He doesn't play defense. What do you want him? He only cared about stat padding and making his numbers look better after that embarrassment. Just absurd. If I die, I die. The day I fell in love with Kirk. I would never fall in love with another man, but shout out to you. He doesn't care about his stats. He does not. Does Arkansas's defense take a big step with the defensive coordinator? So, Austin Tyler, I think Arkansas's defense will take the necessary step with their defensive additions, getting rid of some of the worst secondary players they've ever had in their life. Miles Slusher should not see the field anywhere. He's at Colorado right now. If Miles Slusher's in the starting lineup, we got a problem because he is the worst safety according to PFF. He's like the fourth worst out of 300 guys. There's only 4 worst. And this dude was starting every damn down in the SEC. Trash. But getting Jaheim Thomas at Arkansas, along with a plethora of other people, but Jaheim Thomas is an NFL linebacker, okay? An NFL linebacker. But the problem I see is Arkansas had Sanders, and they had the all-name team, Bumper Pool. They had Bumper Pool and Sanders. And when you lose complete studs like that, how do you not have a drop-off? How do you just, unless you're a factory, unless you're Alabama or Georgia, how do you not have a drop-off when you lose the all-time leading tackler in school history? You know, wait, am I thinking Oklahoma? No, I'm thinking Arkansas. Bumper Pool, right? And Sanders, yeah. So it just sucks, man. It sucks. I'm pulling for him. I want Jaheim Thomas to play great, and I want to be right about that. You know, I'm right about a lot of my sports takes, but that one I really want to be right on. So shout out to me. Yunky, I've seen anything that shows me that when he matters. Oh, you haven't. Did you get your answer about guys jumping into the portal after it closes? Yes, I did, Mr. Maurice. I just addressed it. You can enter the portal at any time if you're an underclassman. You have the right to leave school. You have the right to drop out and change your mind and leave school. You just won't get your immediate waiver approved, meaning you will have to redshirt. You won't be able to play this year. The NCAA won't approve your waiver. So, and then I talked about one gentleman from Baylor. They just pulled his scholarship right now. This week they pulled it. And so he enters the portal, and there's a caveat next to his name in the portal. I got an insider who has access to the portal. He tells me, hey, man, there's a little asterisk next to his name, and it says he will be approved for his financial aid, his scholarship, and his playing. So it'll work out. Running in the rain is the best, Rico. Yunky Chunky, I run on a dirt trail. I do not want to run in the mud. I will not bring those shoes in the house. I do have a gym membership. I'll just go to the gym. Those internet tough guys are called Louisville fans, the biggest dweebs in the country. Fair enough, Ryan Broner. It came across like it was a family member, but I don't think Louisville are the internet tough guys. The internet tough guys, I believe, don't attend universities. Oh, you said fans, Louisville fans. Maybe they could be fans. Yeah, okay. They come across very uneducated. Do you think LSU can beat Bama again this year? Yes, I think LSU is the top team in the SEC. Going out on a limb, I think LSU is the best team in the SEC. Will they win it all? Don't know, but I think they're the best team. What do you think you mean about the Miami Hurricanes? Hired guns, bro. I don't see any camaraderie. I don't see any type of, Cristobal just goes out and gets players. There's no identity to his programs. They're just hired guns. They're mercenaries. They're not trying to take back Miami. They're not trying to build esprit de corps and do this thing. It's not the U. It's not the turnover chain. It's just Cristobal, get guys and just throw some money, man. Get some money in that collective and let's get some players over here. And that's what they're doing. And I hope they do well. They will not win anything unless they find a quarterback. And Kyle Van Dyke is going to be in every mock draft next year, and it's not warranted. He won't play good all year, and they'll still tell you he's getting drafted in the top 4 rounds. Promise. They might even project him to be a first-rounder in all those mock drafts. They're going to put him first round. You watch. Kyle Van Dyke is going to get all this hype. You heard it here first, and none of it's warranted. Bucks fan here. I think we're going to have a good season, not a great season, but a good season with the way we drafted. Yeah, I don't think your draft ever impacts your season, Peter Scott. I don't think recruiting classes impact your season. That's just added depth to your team. You had a good draft. I like the Bucks draft. It's probably in my top 3 best drafts in the whole damn NFL. The Bucks, the Steelers, who else did it? Oh, and the Patriots. Those 3 drafts stand out to me greatly. Not going to change your whole season next year. It doesn't happen. Nope. You need to have a good roster. And for the Bucks, Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. Enough said. Thoughts on Malachi Nelson? No real thoughts, Sean. This is one like I just said. I just touched on it. Added depth. You show up to a school, you're not going to see the field. You're just added depth. Every recruiting class, every major recruit that shows up, I don't bank on them or bet on them to be in the starting lineup. I don't get too excited that you landed the next, who was a great freshman? Jameis Winston or Adrian Peterson, Herschel Walker. I don't think you're going to find those guys every day. I don't try to predict them either. I never try to guess where lightning's going to strike, guys. I'd much rather tell you whether or not it's going to rain, right? I'd rather point out the flops and the failures than trying to guess which one of these guys is lightning in a bottle. That's really hard to do. It's all luck-driven. You get it right once, and you never get it right again, right? But I'd much rather tell you, this guy doesn't look like a good fit at this school. I don't think he's going to work out. I can guess that 100 times because a lot of guys don't work out. That's all I'm saying. Rico, do you think Seattle will have more than 10 wins this year? I don't know. I don't look at their schedule. I have no earthly idea who they're playing, what they're doing. It's all injury-driven. I could give you an answer right now, and then Geno can go get it injured in the preseason, be done for the whole year, and then what are we talking about? I don't like making predictions like that, guys. I'm excited for Sam Hartman at Notre Dame. Want to see him in big-time games. Well, Nathan Smith, you're the only one. You're the only one excited for Sam Hartman at Notre Dame. He has no wide receivers. 0. They brought in Caleb Smith as a transfer from Virginia Tech. He retired due to injuries. They lost who's the kid he just transferred to Ohio State? I just forgot his name. You are in the complete minority thinking anything positive when it comes to Sam Hartman. Now, Sam Hartman's a good player, but Notre Dame has no wide receivers. Notre Dame has a great running back room, and they're going to hand off the rock a lot. But if you think he's going out there and just putting in crazy numbers, I don't know where we're coming up with this idea. But losing Logan Diggs hurts. Lorenzo Styles is who I was thinking about. Lorenzo Styles. So I'm just letting you know, Notre Dame, Sam Hartman, I don't have him in my top 10 transfer quarterbacks. I don't. I think he transferred into a situation where he's going to play okay. He doesn't have an A.T. Perry. He doesn't have somebody with a 6-foot radius that's going to catch every errant pass that he throws. He's going to be at Notre Dame. It's going to be run heavy. It's just a different environment. It's just the way I view it. Did you watch any Rashid Shaheed when he was at Weber State? Also, what do you think of his NFL future as an undrafted free agent wide receiver? He's extremely underrated to me. So, didn't watch him at Weber State. Number 1, saw highlights. Number 2, more importantly, undrafted free agent wide receivers don't make it in the NFL. They just don't. On average, 33 wide receivers are drafted every year. On average, 33. At that point, if you're not in the top 33, you just don't make it. You can try. You're going to bounce around teams, and then they're just going to release you. These guys will end their careers on 10 different practice squads and never make it in the NFL. Undrafted free agents very rarely at wide receiver make it in the NFL. Now, undrafted running backs, about 5 make it every single year. About 5 make it every single year. I've already studied this. I literally studied this right after the draft because one of my favorite receivers, C.J. Johnson, did not get drafted. And I was like, oh, no, C.J. Johnson didn't get drafted, right? Jalen Moreno-Cropper didn't get drafted. Matt Landers didn't get drafted. Jadakiss Bonds didn't get drafted. I was looking at all these great wide receivers who didn't get drafted. I'm like, oh, shit, what's going to happen? Dude, they already released C.J. Johnson once. These guys will get cut all the time. It's the way it is. Wide receivers, undrafted wide receivers, do not make it in the NFL. So if you like the kid, cool. I like him too. I'm going to see him in the XFL and the USFL. They're going to get released. They're just not going to make the cut. They already, like, if they get a quarterback, I want to make this very clear. If a team drafted a quarterback, they're not keeping 7 wide receivers. They're going to keep that third quarterback. You got to think about how many are going to make the active 53 when they go to do their roster cuts. They're going to carry 3 quarterbacks instead of 2. So if you carry 3, you got to lose a position. You got to lose a player somewhere. And the place they cut it is at that 7th wide receiver, 6th wide receiver, whoever you're fighting for. So that's how I feel about it. What's your preseason top 20 for college football? Michael Lay, I don't have it. People asked me to do it today. I can tell you that for me, and I'm not even joking, my number 1 team in the country going into next year is Michigan. My number 1 team going into the season next year is Michigan. I know that much. Outside of that, I haven't really put too much thought into my top 20. I'm working on my transfer portal rankings. I have those. I'm working on that, but not my top 20 for college football. But I see Michigan being the top team in the country next year. Sheer just returning production, dominant offense and defensive line. I like everything they're doing. I like Michigan a lot next year. Yeah, that's where I'm at on that. I also like LSU, like Clemson, like Florida State. So, yep. Dane Key, there you go. The other wide receiver, the other freshman wide receiver. Liked him a lot. They also had Tavion Robinson. Yeah, but Key and Barian Brown stand out to me the most. 24/7 dropped their top 10 and most important coaching honored this season. Coach Prime was listed at 4 behind Garrett Riley, Luke Fickell, and Hugh Freeze. Is this an accurate assessment in your opinion? In my opinion, no. I don't think Garrett Riley is even a good hire to begin with. I think Garrett Riley is a nepotism hire, just because he's with Lincoln Riley. Go look at his track record. Go look at Garrett Riley's career and what he's done. He's just moved around a lot and never been great. There's some other coaching hires that are great. Biff Poggi at Charlotte, G.J. Kinney at Texas State. These are big moves for me. Jeff Brom at Louisville. You can't ignore them. But Luke Fickell's real. Hugh Freeze is real. Obviously, Coach Prime. Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State is probably in the top 3. There's a whole lot of other things going on. Garrett Riley is not one. Not a hire I'm excited about at all. Nope. As far as offensive coordinators go, Phil Longo is more important at Wisconsin. Cone being hired back at Kentucky, probably more important. I go on. I'm just going off the top of my dome right now. I'm trying to think of every single team. No, what's his name who just got hired at Nevada? Brian Vincent. He was the UAB interim coach. He's more important than a lot of these other guys. They're just naming big name guys at big schools. It's clickbait. It's clickbait. He's not a good coach. And if they do well, you're going to think it's because of the coach, but it's not. It's because Cade Klubnik's really, really good. Cade Klubnik is him. Like, that's what it really comes down to. It's not Garrett Riley. Look at Garrett Riley's track record. He's never been good anywhere he's gone. Never. And I give props when props is due. It's not due. It's not due. It's crazy. Pitt versus West Virginia backyard brawl will be closer than expected. Rivalry game and a night game in Morgantown. Shout out to Steve. Yeah, let's go. You weren't kidding about Javon Antonio being wide receiver number 1. He keeps – where are we at? My bad. My chat just jumped on me. No. He keeps mossing and tossing those DBs at Colorado. Yeah, Pac-12's on notice. He'll do it to anybody. I watch tape, man. I know players when they pop on tape. He's one of them. So, also, this is my take. I think Adam Hopkins wins either wide receiver 1, 2, or 3, or 2 or 3. Yeah, Adam Hopkins on tape. If you guys haven't seen practice of Colorado, Adam Hopkins looks like Hunter. Looks like Travis Hunter. But he's a real receiver. He's a full-time receiver. And that's why Travis Hunter can just go play corner. Because you got Adam Hopkins. That kid just showed up right off the rip and just was like, yo, I'm a baller. And he is. He is him. I think he plays. What was the hardest thing about basic training and the hardest thing about being in the military? Stephen Muckler, the hardest thing about basic training was not being able to talk to the girls. I was 20 years old. I was good looking and in phenomenal shape. And there was a lot of beautiful girls that had a crush on me. And you're not allowed to fraternize with them. That was the hardest thing. That was not pursuing the girls. Because I was in phenomenal shape and the rest was easy for me. As far as the hardest thing in being in the military, I would say the lifestyle. You have to embrace the lifestyle and understand that you're going to miss birthdays and anniversaries, and anything else that matters to you is not going to be paramount. The mission's more important, or the unit requirements or expectations. So it's constantly concerning yourself with the perception of you and your reputation. That gets exhausting as a senior leader. You got to portray that white picket fence, that family, that whole sense of accomplishment. It's exhausting. I hate it. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to do it for anybody. Sorry. Fell in love with a fake. Sorry. Okay, my bad. Oregon State is intriguing this year. Hell of a coach over there. Hey, Jonathan Smith's a hell of a coach. Oregon State, to me, top 4, top 5 team in the Pac-12. Oregon State is a top 15, top 20 team in the country. Oregon State has 3 amazing running backs. They'll hit you in the mouth, and they have a great coach. Jonathan Smith's a great coach. DJ Uiagalelei's going there to ride their coattails. They already had a good team. They already got a legit team. They beat Oregon, right? They already won their state title. They beat the brakes off of Florida. They can just run over anybody. They are Big Ten tough in the Pac-12, which is not normal. They're tough like the Big Ten is, but they're in the Pac-12. And they'll let you know about it. Damian Martinez, if you guys want to go watch some film, I guarantee you, just go turn on Oregon State. It's on YouTube, Oregon State, and be like, yo, Rico told me to watch this game. Oregon State, 2022, whatever it is. And you go look up Damian Martinez, Deshaun Fenwick, okay, and then who's the other kid? The transfer from Georgia Tech. Forgetting his name right now. And Jam. Oh, my God. They are mean. I like Oregon State a lot. Miles Slusher gets burned in those Colorado videos. Well, you ain't got to watch Colorado videos. Watch them in the Arkansas videos on a Saturday in a game. Miles Slusher was toast. Boy, was a liability. Somebody call Flo from Progressive. We need some insurance. This man was a liability. Kirk can play problems. He clams up in no games. Yeah, up in the no games. In big games, yeah, my bad. I can read, but you can't write. No, but seriously, I don't even believe that hype. I don't even believe that thing. You play a playoff game, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Arkansas lost Jalen Catalon too. Yeah, Jalen transferred to Texas. So Jalen Catalon, now he was injured. He was injury prone. So, but still, quality player. Arkansas got good players in the portal though. Don't get it twisted. Arkansas is ready. There are 77 of us in here, and we only have 22 likes. Come on, guys. Hit that like button. Thank you very much. You can't hit the like button while you're in here. You got to leave and then come back. Leave, hit the like button, then enter back. How do you think Baylor does this year? Rough year last year. So I don't think it was that rough, Preston. I think they had quarterback issues with Blake Shapen. They tried to address it, bringing in R.J. Martinez, bringing in the kid from Mississippi State. What's his name? Not Braden Locke. Another kid. Oh, Jack Robinson. Robertson, right? Anyways, so they brought in some guys to help, but Baylor has a great running back. Great freshman running back. If you guys didn't know, Baylor had a running back last year. Let me show you guys. I'll pull it up. And when you have that and you hold on to it, and Baylor knows the recipe for what they're doing. Let me minimize myself here for you guys. I don't have like all my boxes pre-saved the way they tell you to. I'm not that guy, bro. I just talk. Check it out, though. Last year, Blake Shapen played bad. Okay, he didn't play great. Drones transferred out, never saw the field really. Blake Shapen's still there. But here's what happens. Richard Reese, and I don't know if you guys can read this, but as a freshman, you rushed for 972 yards. You guys can only imagine one of your favorite running backs rushing for 972 yards as a freshman. I'm letting you know. Those are great numbers. And you want to hear something crazy? 14 touchdowns as a freshman, 14 touchdowns. And the craziest part about it is they got the leading rusher from Oklahoma State to transfer in. You got Richard Reese here, and the leading rusher from Oklahoma State transfers in. So now they got two amazing running backs. They're going to run the rock all over the place. Baylor's running. They're going to hit you in the mouth. They got two guys that can rush for 1,000 yards. We'll see what they do with it. But I want you to think of, like, who was it? Ronnie Brown and Cadillac, Darren McFadden, and who was he paired up with? Who's Darren McFadden paired up with? I remember. I think he went to the Cowboys. Forgot who it was. Back in Arkansas. Somebody knows. But, yeah, it's going to be a 1-2 punch at Baylor like you wouldn't believe. So I'm excited for Baylor. As an Arkansas fan, thank the Lord Miles Lush is gone. Thank you. Thoughts on Russell Vaden IV? No thoughts. No thoughts on Russell Vaden. Rico, what do you think the future of the Pac-12 and ACC will be? I don't try to predict things, man. People realign. Teams join. The Pac-10 president, Pac-12 president already said they're content with staying at 10 teams. They're going to be solid there. They don't even care. So if they lose two more after USC and UCLA, they'll add San Diego State and SMU. They already said it. San Diego State athletic director announced it at a dinner to a bunch of people 3 months ago. He already announced it that they're going to be joining the Pac-12 soon. And SMU, their TV market's extremely valuable. SMU's dying to get back to the Power 5. So there's still going to be teams that join them. The ACC, it's a little different. Florida State is their most lucrative university in the ACC. They are far more lucrative than Clemson. The basketball teams don't want to move. Okay, the basketball teams don't want to move in the ACC. So remember, when you move, you take your basketball teams with you. I don't care. They're all going to play football. They're all going to play their sports. Whether you're part of a conference doesn't matter. They're going to play seasons. They're going to be around. The teams will be here long after the conferences dissolve. I remember in the 90s there was the Big 8 and the Southwest Conference. I remember these conferences in the 90s. 94. Arkansas wasn't in the SEC. South Carolina. If you study this game, Georgia Tech used to be in the SEC. Does it matter? No. They got out in the 40s, 50s, but they were in it. They were part of their original member. And so was some Division III school I can't even name. So it doesn't matter, man. Conferences realign all the time. Let them do their thing. What do you think will happen to Malik Willis? I think Malik Willis is going to be out of a job. I think the minute they drafted another quarterback, Malik Willis has nowhere to be. He's not going to be a part of that team in the foreseeable future. And there's no fifth-year option because he wasn't a first-round pick. Every time I think of Jameis Winston, I'm reminded of him eating the W. I'm going to eat this. Yeah, I think about stealing crab legs, but I'm going to eat this W is really embarrassing. He's going to make it. He's so underrated. Rashid Shaheed is going to make it. He's so underrated. Preston, just remember what I'm telling you. You think they make it, and then they get released after one season. And then they're on practice squads their whole life. I literally just looked up today, Frank Clark signed. Let's go to Spot Rack. You can go in here. I go to Spot Rack all the time. If you guys don't go to Spot Rack, it's the number one website to go to look at contracts and transactions. And if you go in here and you go to transactions for the NFL, and I could just go in here today and just look at wide receivers. I'm only looking for wide. Look at that. Nick Williams released. Nick Williams, undrafted. He just transferred. He was at Colorado Pueblo or something like that for 4 or 5 years. Played last year at UNLV. Didn't get drafted. He just got signed right after the draft in May. They just released him today. Auden Tate, undrafted, released. These guys get released so often you don't even know their names. That's the craziest part about it. If I was to show you the Cowboys signed a wide receiver a couple weeks ago when they released Antonio Callaway, who did they sign? Tyron Johnson. Do you know who Tyron Johnson is? Undrafted wide receiver. And he could play football. Tyron Johnson. Been in the league for a couple years now. Look at all the teams he's been on. This is the life of an undrafted wide receiver. So you might think your guy is good. Look at this. This is 2019, bro. And every asterisk you see there is just a practice squad. Never made the field. 4 practice squads in 1 year. 4 practice squads in 1 year. And he's doing it again. And he's not going to make the Cowboys. If he does, that means Jalen Moreno-Cropper doesn't make it. Either way, undrafted free agents, wide receivers, this is their career. This is what they have. This man's made 23 receptions, 3 touchdowns. It was all with the Chargers that 1 year. It was all with Herbert's rookie year. That's how I know him. But I know when he played at Oklahoma State, but my point is you just don't make it as an undrafted wide receiver. You just don't. It sucks, man. Thoughts on Louisville this upcoming season? Jacob Richardson, I think Louisville's amazing. I think they're going to be great. Everything Jeff Brom's doing, I don't know if they're going to win all their games, but they're going to be exciting to watch. They're going to throw for 4,000 or 5,000 yards. So do their thing. I'm excited. At what position do teams keep the most undrafted free agents? So I didn't study each position group. I would have to owe you an answer. I can just tell you that undrafted free agent running backs really make it. Undrafted free agent running backs make it. That much I do know. Rico's 100% right on undrafted wide receivers. It's very, very few. Sean Lewis at Colorado. What about Sean Lewis? Amazing offense coordinator. Great hire. Yep. Agree. TCU was leading Colorado 7-6 well into the third quarter before they blew it open. Not a very good team. Not a very good team. Rico, are you familiar with Waltzy Champ will be linebacker at Texas Southern University this year? Boss Omar, no. I don't watch a lot of FCS football unless a player is transferred to the FBS. I watch a lot of FBS football, all 133 teams, but I don't always watch FCS games. I watch the playoffs, and I go back and watch film on transfers from FCS to FBS. And so I'll study them like that. Which week 1 matchup is a must-watch? I already did a video on that, Alston Tyler. If you can go find it, I wish you well. I did a video on my channel. I suggest you just sit down, go to my homepage. Don't wait for my videos to show up on your For You page. Go on TikTok, sit there, pull up my page, and just start watching videos. That's all I can recommend to all you guys. If you want to see what I think about something, you just got to sit there and put in the time. Just start watching the videos. That's all I can recommend, and you'll find it. I did my top 5 matchups for week 1, and I think I gave my top 3 upsets, something like that. Thoughts on the Miami Dolphins this year? None, Nathan. No thoughts. If Kim asks for likes, that means y'all are slacking. Hey, you guys better know the deal. Do you think Virginia Tech will improve this year? Yes. I think Virginia Tech can't do worse. From what I saw last year, Virginia Tech was absolute garbage. They have Baishal Tootin at running back now, transfer from North Carolina A&T, a stud running back. I saw them upgrading in the offseason in the transfer portal. The players they were dumping were not, Virginia Tech caliber players. So I'm hoping they're good. Nick Singleton want for $1K and 12 as a true freshman. Dog. Yes, dog. But if there's anything, I think the offensive line was really good. I think the scheme really works and it's really good. So, good player. One guy in the whole country going for $1K as a freshman, right? $1,200 as a freshman. There's a few. They show up. Judkins did it at Ole Miss. Judkins is a complete dog. Judkins, to me, is the best player in the SEC. So, I think UNC might take a little leap this year, too. No. Complete opposite, Randy Rizzo. I have UNC taking a huge drop. I have UNC having a bad year. He lost Josh Downs. That's a safety blanket. That's an NFL wide receiver. He lost Green, another NFL wide receiver. So you lose 2 NFL wide receivers. You lose Dre Bly, the secondary coach, and the entire secondary. 6 guys transferred out. You lose your offensive coordinator and Phil Longo. I see North Carolina having a bad year. Drake May was their leading rusher. He was their leading passer. I don't think he can carry them 2 years in a row. Murray with McFadden. No, not DeMarco Murray. Felix Jones. That's the right answer. Thank you very much. Murray was much later. Thoughts on Trevor Etienne? I believe he will have a big year. I believe he won't, Glaze. He won't have a big year. Florida's going to use 3 running backs. Florida's going to use 3 running backs and give each of them 100 carries. That's the plan. That's what Billy Napier did at Louisiana, that's what he knows how to do. And that's why they got Cam Carroll in the transfer portal from Tulane. That's why they got a running back in the transfer portal from Tulane. And that's why they were recruiting Alton McCaskill, the fourth. They were recruiting him because they wanted 3 running backs. They're going to use 3 running backs, 100 yards, 100 carries each. It's what they're going to do. So, who is your dark horse for Heisman Trophy? So, Rick Smith, it's really hard to have a dark horse because it must come from a Power 5 school and it must be a quarterback. That's how it really works in the realistic world. So, like, my ultimate dark horse is Frank Harris or Riley Leonard, right? The Duke quarterback and the San Antonio quarterback, UTSA. But that's not going to happen. So if I say dark horse, am I like Michael Penix Jr.? Is that a dark horse or is that a favorite? Jack Plummer, is that a dark horse? That's a dark horse, Jack Plummer. But you got to have a team that's going to go undefeated. So Jaden Daniels, there's no real dark horse. It's just the starting quarterback on an undefeated team. That's what it comes down to. When it's time for the voting, a one-loss team or an undefeated team, whoever the quarterback is. That's how it works. So, no real dark horses there. How well do you believe Sam Howell can play under Eric Bieniemy? Or will Jacoby Brissett end up being our starter? I just want to get my head wrapped around our quarterback room. Don't sugarcoat it. I love Jacoby Brissett. Out of those two, I like Jacoby Brissett. I don't envy Eric Bieniemy's job. I think he's got a tough job. He's got 2 quarterbacks. And when you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. You got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. I can say it 100 times over. You need one bona fide guy that stands out above the rest, and I don't think they have it. Are you hearing any portal buzz for the last couple of spots on Louisville's roster, needing a tight end but haven't had luck? No. No, Jacob Richardson, I'm not. I'm not hearing it. I see it, but I'm not. What's your opinion on Billy Bowen's number 1 receiver at Boise State? They need to throw the rock. He needs to, Green needs to let it go. So Taylor, they need to do something. I like Boise State. I like Billy Bowens. Cool. It's the Mountain West, bro. You should be putting up big numbers. Thoughts on the Colorado offensive line? I think it's very good. I think all 5 spots are figured out. I think the offensive line is very good at Colorado. There's camaraderie. 2 of the guys know each other really well. I think people underestimate what they're going to do. They're going to be fine. Offensive line will not be a weak point for them. Their offense is going to be very explosive. Shout out to Sean Lewis. Their offense, they know what they're doing. So, do you think Bo Nix is first-round caliber? Quarterbacks go in the first round, whether they're first-round caliber or not. Let me make that very clear. There was 2 of them. There's definitely one of them this year, but 2 of them were being touted to be first-rounders, and they didn't belong in the first round at all. So, do I think NFL teams will draft Bo Nix in the first round if he has a good season? Yes. If he continues his growth without Kenny Dillingham, yes. Thank you, Never Cared for Sports Radio. You have converted me. You understand the game and the business of the game outstanding. Thank you, Boss Omar. I appreciate you, man. I don't listen to sports radio either. I don't think they know any more than me. I'd rather hear myself talk. Do you think Dante Cephas can become a wide receiver number 1 coming from Kent State? So, no, I never understood the hype on Dante Cephas going to Penn State. They all start gassing him, and the reason for it is he has a real quarterback, right? But there were 3 Kent State wide receivers that transferred, and he's the second best one. They all went to Power 5 schools. Polk went to West Virginia, and the other kid, he went to North Carolina. What's his name? Drawing a blank on the name right now. But the point is Dante Cephas isn't special. He's okay. He's a MAC wide receiver. But because he's going to Drew Allard, they're all assuming Drew Allard is going to be able to hit him in stride and put up huge numbers. Look, they're going to run the rock. They're going to run the rock, and every now and then play action will be open. But I don't see Dante Cephas doing anything great. You feel me? I just don't see it. My guess is Jaden Daniels. If you consider that a dark horse, that's not a dark horse to me. That'll be the starting quarterback on an SEC championship team. If it's going to be Jaden Daniels, they will be winning the SEC, and he will be the starting quarterback in the SEC. That's not a dark horse. You get what I'm saying? I stay current with all your TikTok and YouTube videos. I'm your number 1 viewer. Thank you, Willie Bobo. I believe you. I think you might be in the top 5 for sure. Same reason we don't have 2 presidents and I don't have 2 wives. All right, Steve. Can you please tell me who's going to start at quarterback for Wyoming this year? Because I can't find anything. Sorry, you're a Wyoming fan. So the kid transferred out. I'll tell you. It's not going to be surprising. It's going to be the same kid who transferred in from last year. I already looked into this. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. Because the other kid transferred to Nebraska. Yeah, Andrew Peasley here, graduate transfer. He'll be the starter. He's still here. And where did Peasley come from? Oh, I'm sorry. You guys can't see. I pulled it up I'm not showing you. So Peasley is the starter. Previous school, Utah State. That's who your guy is right now. I looked into this maybe 2 weeks ago, and I'll look into it again after spring ball. I'll go read reports, but that's who it is. It's Andrew Peasley, former quarterback at Utah State, came over, did his thing. Whatevers. How does the transfer portal work for teams like Army, Air Force, etc.? Does it at all? You have to be enlisted, I'm guessing. I never really thought about it until right now. Randy Rizzo. So no, you don't have to be enlisted. Enlisted means you didn't go to college. You went straight to the Army. And enlisted means you're not a commissioned officer. Officers are commissioned. So but I get what you mean. I'm just technicalities. So the way it works for all the service schools is when you attend a service school as a student, you are not in the service yet. You're not committed to the military. After your sophomore year, every single person on the team and every single student in the academy has to declare that they're going to serve. And it's at that point you have a commitment to serve. Okay? After your sophomore year, you have to decide whether or not this military thing's for you. Or if you don't want to go through it. And if you don't want to go through it, you can transfer out. You can leave. But after your sophomore year, you're all in, and you're in the military. And you're going to go do your time and your service, and you're going to go deploy and do all your stuff and be Army for at least 4 years. Okay? Here's the thing. Players and regular students have to make that decision. This is not just sports. This is regular students as well. In the transfer portal, anyone who chose to leave jumps in the portal and they depart. No one is joining those service academies via the transfer portal. It's not allowed. They're not having it. You have to show up as a freshman and go. So their recruiting classes are allowed to be bigger than normal recruiting classes. They don't have to abide by the 25. There was no limit this year, but the 25 initial entry scholarships, they can exceed it. They get 40 sometimes. They get 40 guys because they're going to lose people after 2 years. They're going to lose them. They don't stick around all year. So they'll sign 40 dudes coming out of high school. They don't even care. So it's just a unique thing with the service academies. Now, one of their quarterbacks just left. He's pursuing his master's degree before he goes to do his service time, and they let him do that because he has years of eligibility to still play football. The Air Force quarterback. That's why he left. So it's cool. Jaden Daniels' high school career is kind of insane. Cajon was great. Yeah. Thoughts on Jack Plummer, Jamari Thrash, and Kevin Coleman and company for the new Louisville offense? Yeah, Jacob Richardson. I have an entire video on this. If you just search on TikTok hashtag Louisville, put a space, and then do hashtag transfer portal, hit enter. And you'll find every single video I've ever made on Louisville. And I've probably made about a dozen. So, and you hear what I say about them. I think very highly of Jack Plummer, and I think very highly of Louisville in the transfer portal. So that's how I feel about them. I think they're in my top 5 in the transfer portal rankings. I know that. So they're in my top 5 for sure. Who's going to be king of the Big Ten when the season is done? Rick Smith, whoever won all their games. All right, let me go over here. We'll get back to the rest. Let me just go see what else I wanted to talk to you guys about. Hey, so it turns out there's a story released today. An NFL football player lost $8 million gambling on one of the apps. Now, they're not saying who it was, but somebody lost $8 million gambling. Say what? That's a problem. Now, if you got $8 million to lose, more power to you. And if you did it from home, you're allowed to do that. As long as you didn't do it from the facility, you didn't bet on your teams. But apparently he doesn't know what sport he's betting on. Whoever lost the $8 million doesn't know sports. Stop betting. It's not cute. But what I want to say to you guys is it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before an NFL football player bets too much money and loses. Right? And you know what happens? Then they start taking bribes. Then they start point shaving because they owe a bookie somewhere. You lose too much money. What are the chances one of those players then is willing to take money to throw a game? One of them is willing to take the dive and point shave. I think it's going to happen. And the NFL, they cannot sit here and be shocked that their players are betting. There's a spread on every game. It's published everywhere. They have agreements and partnerships with FanDuel and DraftKings and MGM and Caesar and everybody else. So, but $8 million to gambling, you have a legitimate problem gambling if you lost $8 million in a year. That's a lot of money, guys. It's a lot of money to be betting. You imagine, what's the size of your bet? Are you betting $100,000 at a time? Because if you're betting $100,000 at a time, you would have to lose 80 times in a row to lose $8 million. You're on a hell of a... I mean, you had to bet millions of dollars on something. That guy had to bet on something insane, or he's got to be addicted in betting every night. $8 million. It was announced yesterday, or announced today, Texas Tech will be putting Mike Leach in their Ring of Honor. My question to you guys is, and it's warranted, Mike Leach and Cliff Kingsbury are going to get in the Ring of Honor. I don't know how Cliff gets in there before, B.J. Simons and some of these other all-time greats, Graham Harrell, but more power to him. I just want to know the Leach, like, how does Leach get into the hall, into their thing? How do we not recognize Pete Carroll at USC? Is Spurrier in at Florida? I want to give these guys their flowers before they go, bro. I don't want to do it after they die. Now everybody's cool. I think Texas Tech was pissed at Mike Leach. They fired him, right? For locking a dude in a shed. If I remember correctly, Mike Leach was fired, and there was a bunch of stuff going on. And now he's magically in the Ring of Honor after he dies? You don't want to give this man his credit while he's alive? Let's give people their flowers while they're alive. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We're back to Netflix. July 12th, Netflix, in about a month, they're going to release a series called Quarterback. And it's following 3 quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota? Why are we following Marcus Mariota? I think this is, and I'm going to say something crazy, but I think this is wokeness, bruh. You got to have a black guy. You got to have a white guy. And then you got to have an ambiguous guy, just like another random dude who kind of checks all the boxes. It's Mariota. We're not sure what he is. He's fast as hell, but we're not sure what he is, right? No, we know what he is. My point is I don't really want to hear Mariota's journey. Or maybe I do, and maybe I don't want to hear Mahomes. Why do I have to see Mahomes? I just think it's pathetic. Like, how did they pick these 3 quarterbacks to follow for the season and have them mic'd up? And you know what I hate? When they have players mic'd up, you know they're mic'd up. They're telling their teammates, I'm mic'd up. They know they're mic'd up, so now everything they do and say is for the show. None of it's genuine. I was watching Tim Tebow give his speech in the locker room about, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. We're going to go out there and win. We're going to get the ball. And it's a real motivational speech. And then I realized, dude, he's looking right at the camera the whole time. He's looking right at the camera the whole time. I wish we could hear and see what they say when they don't know they're being recorded. Because that's what's getting people fired. Because that's the part we want to know about. Not this crap. I don't like it, man. I stopped watching mic'd up stuff a while ago. Ever since I realized all their teammates know they're mic'd and they're just doing their best to show out for the camera. I can't stand it. I'm sure you guys are going to watch it. Greg McElroy doing the nonsense. You guys don't know who Greg McElroy is, former Alabama quarterback. comes out and says he wants to see Ohio State and USC play every single season. And, of course, he's going to go public with it. He puts it on his podcast. He puts it on Twitter. And he says, I want to see these two teams play every single season. It'll be great football. You know what it'll do? It'll ruin one of them so an SEC team gets in the national title. He wants one of them to have a ruined season, so he wants to see them play every year. Are you kidding me? You got an SEC quarterback now in the media saying these two teams need to play each other every year. The audacity. Alabama and Georgia don't play each other every year. In the regular season, they've played each other 3 times in the last 12 years. They play in the championship game sometimes, in the playoffs sometimes, but regular season, that conference doesn't schedule them. Matter of fact, Georgia has played Texas A&M once since they joined the conference. Since 2014, Georgia's played A&M once. They'll do anything to preserve their powerhouse teams to get a cake schedule. And then you got these personalities coming on TV and going, oh, we want these guys to play each other every single year. Yeah? USC playing 9 conference games and Notre Dame every single year? Now you want them playing Ohio State every year in the conference? They play 9 conference games every year and Notre Dame. USC has never played an FCS opponent, ever. In school history, they're the only ones. Notre Dame was right there with them, then they scheduled an FCS opponent. Notre Dame and USC were the only 2 schools for the longest time. Now it's just USC. And this clown gets on TV, gets on social media, and starts saying, I want to see them schedule each other every single year. And then he just goes, imagine, it would be popcorn worthy. He's doing all that. It's all smoke and mirror nonsense. Imagine what it would look like if they all played each other. Dude, you don't care. You don't care. It's crazy, bro. Bills cancel final day of minicamp. Stephon Diggs comes back after all that drama, and the Bills canceled the last day. But it's pretty normal. The Patriots canceled their last day as well. So everybody canceled their last day, and they'll see each other in the fall. Whenever summer camp starts, whatever fall camp starts. But Stephon Diggs came back. He returned after throwing his tantrum. Somebody get that baby a pacifier. Unfortunately, we had our first casualty of the offseason. Colts, rookie, 5th-round draft pick, 2-time All Pac-12 selection, right? It just sucks. And I talked about him, Daniel Scott. He's a safety from Cal. I think he tore his ACL. Yep, tore his ACL in the final play of last week's OTA. The final play because they didn't want to do another play after he tore his ACL. Season-ending injury reserve. 5th rounder. I don't see how he makes the team. See, so when you get put on injured reserve, just so everybody knows, you get paid. You get paid your full season salary, but everybody knows your days are numbered at that point because you're injured. You're tainted. And what a terrible way to go. You got to the NFL, never got to play in a preseason game. You tear your ACL. Damn shame. I feel bad for the kid. This is crazy. Isaiah Simmons, number 8 pick in the 2020 draft. Isaiah Simmons moving to corner, moving from linebacker to corner. From this point forward, he's going to be a defensive back. Now, he'll be a safety. He'll be a nickel guy. But this is a flop right here. This is me telling you guys he didn't make it. You know, when I was doing my draft assessments, no one's going to know how right I am for about 4 years. And I don't know where everybody's going to be in 4 years. I plan to be right here doing this. And I'm going to let you guys know how wrong people were. Isaiah Simmons was a terrible draft pick. I said it when the draft happened. They know it. The Cardinals didn't exercise their 5th-year option on him. They didn't sign him for a 5th year. So now he's got to show and prove this year or he's gone. Well, I'm telling you right now, he's gone. They're making him change positions in his show me year. He's got to change positions. What this means is they didn't believe him long term. You don't go fifth-year option. We don't believe in you long term. And if he does play well next year, their only option at that point is franchise. And they're going to franchise him as a corner instead of a linebacker. I wonder what the pay difference is. I should go look it up before I start this conversation. You guys know me. I'm all about stats. But the reality is somebody drafted the wrong guy. And they had a terrible draft, 2020. Guess who else they don't believe in? They don't believe in Kyler Murray. And everybody gives them a free pass. But they drafted Josh Rosen, 9th overall, 8th overall, whatever it was, 9th overall. 1 year later, they took Kyler Murray 1st overall. Could you imagine the Colts taking Anthony Richardson this year, and then next year they take the 1st pick overall, and they take C.J. Williams? Caleb Williams, I'm sorry. Could you imagine? My dog's pissed. She's pissed about it. Well, that's what the Cardinals did, and nobody batted an eye. No one cares. I was going to talk about the Cowboys releasing some players. I think they're going to release Ronald Jones. Rojo. I think they're going to release Ronald Jones. Chances are Ronald Jones, who just got signed to the Cowboys to replace Zeke Elliott, I think they're going to release him. I think they might get Zeke for the league minimum because nobody else wants him. You get Zeke Elliott for the league minimum, I think you take it. But Deuce McAllister is going to make this squad, and Hunter Lepecki is going to make the practice squad. Hunter Lepecki, the fullback out of North Dakota State, going to make that practice squad. I'm hoping. But I'm pretty sure Rojo gets cut, man. Ronald Jones, former USC running back, former Tampa Bay Buck, great. Let's get back to the chat. We'll wrap up everything once we get back to the chat. Give me a second here. We'll start preparing accordingly. What do we got? Back to the chat. Thanks for being here again, guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's go. Good videos earlier today. Thank you very much. Maybe Kyler from Fortnite bets. Who the hell is Kyler from Fortnite? I don't know. Will Georgia three-peat? I don't think so, T. I don't think they have anything near as good as last year. You lose guys like Jalen Carter, Noah Smith. You lose your quarterback, your starting quarterback for the last 2 years. Beck is not him. I just don't see it. I don't see them winning everything. They have a good team. I don't see them winning everything. How good do you think they will be, Georgia? Yeah, T. Maybe the 3rd or 4th best team in the SEC. Maybe the 3rd or 4th best team. They could be the 2nd best team in the SEC. Won't matter. Jamin Davis, breakout year upcoming. Okay. I hear you. The Leach irony. Yep. Pete bounced just in time to miss penalties. Yeah, he missed penalties. My question is, does he make the USC Hall of Fame? Does he make the Ring of Honor? Does he get his, they always have those jerseys. I want Reggie Bush's jersey back in the stadium, taking up a bunch of seats with Matt Leinert's and OJ's, because OJ's innocent too. He locked up the punter. Marcus Mariota's a backup. Yes, he is. He's a backup for the Steelers. Who's he backup for? The Eagles. He's a backup for the Eagles. Pacific Islander. Yeah, we know what he is. You sharp blood, stay focused on all respect. Appreciate you. I appreciate the realness, Rico. Thank you, Glaze. Always. My G Rico, I'm always tuning in, brother. Thank you, Black Mones. Black Mones? Hey, Black Snake Moan? What's up? He's too big to play nickel. Well, he ain't big enough to play linebacker. They put him anywhere and everywhere. Be honest, Rico, do you watch AEW? Ryan Bruner, I actually don't know what AEW stands for, but I know it's a wrestling thing. I don't watch any wrestling of any sort outside of college wrestling. Nothing. I don't got it for you, bro. What game in the Pac-12 might change the college football playoff picture? Whoever beats USC. Cliff, great college quarterback. On the flip side, yeah, I'm aware. Do you think Caleb Williams is the real deal? Yeah, me and everybody else. Kyler Murray. I can't believe Dalvin Cook still hasn't signed with the team. Dalvin Cook is 28 years old, about to be 28 years old. Dalvin Cook is not going to sign with the team the way you envision. Teams don't want old running backs, especially not at those prices. He'll sign, but teams don't want him. They don't want old running back. You get a rookie. You get a young guy fresh legs, much cheaper. Don't believe the hype. Do you believe Gibbs' hype for the Lions? No, Rick Smith, not at all. That's a running back you drafted in the first round. I can't get down with it. Do they give financial aid and academic aid for football programs? Yes, they do. Blake, each player gets both. Yep. That's your scholarship, essentially. Yep. Do you think Jimbo Fisher is out if he does bad this year? Preston, I would hope so, especially with Cliff Kingsbury out there and available, Zach Kitley available, Joey McGuire available. There are some viable candidates to take that job if Jimbo Fisher falls flat on his face at the price. Now, the buyout's huge, but I think they're fed up if they have another bad season. I don't think they're going to have a bad season. How about that? I don't think they have a bad season. What if A&M wins 8 to 9 games? That's not a bad season. If they win 8 to 9 games, they're going to be just fine. You think Wisconsin is going to upset Ohio State at home this year? I like Wisconsin a lot. I don't like to make predictions like that. Wisconsin is not going to beat the Buckeyes no time soon, ever. Okay. Well, there you go. Look, you apparently to the public knows, but that's something that Rico doesn't know. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys every single night. Keep doing what you do. Keep supporting the channel. Go get the merch. RicoKnows.org. Do your thing, y'all. Peace.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix.